odd. You know, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious which one I'm going to choose. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. It's so dumb. So stupid. Oh, I could change my...
Air and shit.
Ooh.
God.
Ooh. Where? Oh shit, Jesus Christ. Oh wait. Talking about salami.
What the fuck? It's fucked up, man. You son of a bitch.
You scared me.
I scared.
Yeah, I was like, damn, this bot's jumping right at me. Kick your panty ass. Yeah, easy. Oh, you're next, brother. Don't even worry about it. Ow. I'll let you have a free one because I knew you're about to expire like a high school girl. Get the fuck out of my lobby, kid. Oh, present. I got a present, man.
Was that me? Son of a bitch.
Judy. Judy, you want a little bite? Damn, dude, she actually ate it. What the fuck? Y'all saw that? It like disappeared off the fork, man. I definitely didn't drop it. My fucking fan wants to make a cameo today. Hey, every follow. Anyways, what was I saying? Every follow I get, I'll stick my hand in the fan.
Oh, Jesus. Fuck.
Don't let homies play bad games. Oh my god. Huh?
More or less the link. Y'all see that fucking shadow go across? What the fuck?
I needed a replay of that one.
You see Sky? Oh!
odd. You know, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious which one I'm going to choose. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. It's so dumb. So stupid. Oh, I could change my...
Air and shit.
Ooh.
God.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. Howdy, howdy. Way too loud. How are we doing today, everybody? Welcome into C-Box. How you doing? We're trying something a little new, a little different, a little experiment. We'll see how long it sticks. I've, as any white dude, wanted to do a podcast. You know? And that's what I'm doing today. Got a little bit of maintenance. That's fine though. How do I pin that? Can I not pin? I missed. Ignore that. 5 seconds. Give me 5 seconds to do this. Maybe open up my script too, man. Fuck, man, I'm so unprofessional. I'm so unprofessional. My hair looks like shit. Spin that. There you go. There you go. And I think I'm ready to rock and roll, more ready than I was before. Let's see. Let me get to my script, read through this, and one thing at a time, you know? Welcome to Correct Me If I'm Wrong, a podcast where some random right dude shares opinions nobody asked for. Let me try that again. From the top, y'all watching how the sausage is made live. Welcome to Correct Me If I'm Wrong, a podcast where some random white dude shares his opinions nobody asked for. Revolutionary, I know. I'm Warlock, the white guy in question, and I like to share the stage with you. If you got something to say, join me on TikTok, hit the request button, or drop in chat. Whatever you feel comfortable with, just keep it respectful. We'll all have a good time. See, that wasn't so bad. That was pretty chill. You know? I think I got this. So, let's see. Where do I start? Let me start with the why. Why am I doing this, right? The music too loud? I like the music too loud. I want it to be like super low, much lower than me. But not where you can't hear it. All right, the levels look fine to me. I'll worry about that later. Where was I? Yeah. So, like I said, the reason I'm doing this new show, this podcast sort of thing, is I wanted to push myself. I've always wanted to do something like a podcast. I love listening to podcasts. And I had done something like this before with Twitter Space, and it was called the Space Bar. I had a co-host and everything, and I think we did like 3 episodes maybe, and then I don't know when exactly it died, but after we did 3 episodes once a week, and when it came time to do that 4th episode, we just didn't touch it, you know? Well, that reminds me. But like I said, I don't know why we stopped doing the podcast. It just stopped, and it was a shame because I enjoyed it. We didn't have a huge audience by any means. I think we had like one viewer, and that was a relative of mine. So we weren't by any means. I don't know. You know what I mean? We weren't big. So, but it was a lot of fun just chatting and sharing thoughts and ideas with people. I feel like I'm in a comfortable flow state. Um, and it was like I said, it was a very similar to this. What I want this to be. I want this to be conversation. I want to share my views, my thoughts, and my opinions, and I want to hear the views, thoughts, and opinions of those around me. So that's what we're here to do today. Well, today is more interesting. I don't know if y'all hear that. Today's more about testing the reins, getting a taste for it. That's the first couple episodes are going to be like that because nobody's gonna just jump in right away on a new theme. So I expect for a while I'm just going to be talking to myself and to the void. I'm okay with it. I'm actually very comfortable. I've had some time to think about this. I heard someone the other day say failing is not trying and not succeeding. Failing is not trying in the first place. So I figured, fuck it, why not, right? My goal for this show, it's multi-layered. It's a multi-layered goal. On the one hand, I'm just practicing talking. I just want to get better at talking to an audience. Even if it's one person, 100 people, 1,000 people, a billion, whatever it is, I just want to be comfortable talking. And I feel like that's just where I needed. This is the format I need to take. It's also kind of the reason why I wanted to get into GTA RP. Put a pin in that. We'll talk about it. But yeah, so the idea, like I said, of the show is for me to just share my thoughts, for me to practice talking to strangers and talking in front of camera and talking to an audience. My other goal is to also use this to branch out and also show another side of me. I don't want to be one of those streamers that just sits there and plays video games. I don't want to become, and here's no shade to people who are like this, right? I don't want to be a streamer myself that just is like, I'll just go live, play a video game I like, because fuck it, why not, right? Because there's a lot of people who do that, and that's fine. That's totally fine. I don't want that. Back in, fuck, dude, how long ago was this? Hold on, let me Google something before I make a complete ad. Some people who know me would know this. Yeah, okay. Early 2020, right? Remember, if you will. Oh, my internet's bad. Think about it, if you will. Remember, early 2020, COVID was a big deal. I had just gotten fired from my job at Walmart for the first time, because years later they took me back, and it was a situation. But this first time I got fired, I had called in because my girlfriend was very sick and was going to be in the hospital for a while. And I was like, hey guys, just so you know, this is what's going on. I'm going to be out for a while. I don't have babysitters. So I need to be here for my kids. My schedule was like 4 a.m. to 1 p.m. You can't raise kids and take them in. I had one in school, one at home. I couldn't do it, right? There's just no way to do it. I didn't have the help. So I told him this. I told my manager this. And he's like, all right, man, whatever you need, just take your time. I was like, oh, thank goodness, And then she got back, she got better, and she was like, okay, we're in a place where I can start watching the kids again, and we should be fine. So she's like, go back to work. I called and I was like, hey, I'm ready to come back, just so y'all know. And they're like, yeah, just, come in on Monday and come straight to the office. And I was like, all right, bet. I don't know what that's about, but why not, right? And sometimes this helps with my internet speed. My internet cutting in and out. This is another reason I want to do this to keep testing my internet. I don't know if that helped. I'm just gonna keep going. So I come back in that Monday, walk into the office. First thing I tried to do is clock in. Said user, no user or something. I don't remember. And I was like, that's weird. And I go to the back and I'm like, hey, I go to the office. I'm like, hey guys, I'm here, and it won't let me clock in. They're like, don't worry about that. Go ahead and take a seat. And I was like, okay. I was like, okay. I take a seat and they're like, this is a different manager I hadn't talked to. But the manager I had talked to was also in the office. And they were like, hey, the one who I haven't talked to was like, what's up, man? It's like, hey, what's up? It's like, you told me you called for 4 days in a row. I was like, no, I was actually out nearly a week, and I explained the situation and was told it was fine. And I looked over to the other manager as like, hey, step in. I talked to you about this. And he looked at me and he just went, and then he looked down at his shoes, and I was like, this fucking coward. And he was like, well, I didn't, the manager, B, we'll call him B, the one who didn't know. Like, why? I didn't hear about this. So what's up, brother? So I explained the situation to him. I'm like, misunderstanding. It happened. So I explained everything to him, and he goes, well, you know that there's things you have to do. There's procedure for something like this. And I go, no, I literally didn't. I was like, no, I literally didn't know this. Oh shit. Hope you guys still could hear me then. But I was like, no, I didn't know this, right? And he was like, yeah, there's a whole procedure you're supposed to go through and you didn't do it, so I'm sorry, we're gonna have to let you go. And I was like, fuck, yeah, okay, whatever. Peace, I'm out. And I left. And when I left, right before I left, right, when I first came in, they were stocking Corona, the beer. And I remember we had made a joke. I was like, hey, watch careful, with those cases of beer. Did you hear about the new virus? And I said something to that effect. It wasn't that exact verbatim because it's boring and bullshit delivery. I'm funnier than that, but that's how I remember it. And so I said something like that. Then I went to the office, got fired, and I was walking out. And I was really upset and emotional because I just almost lost my girlfriend, the mother of my kids, and now I've lost my job and I have to go home and be like, well, what do we got to do? Why did I go on this rant? Oh, so I was sitting at home and then the news hit. I started applying for a bunch of jobs, and then I paused on some application I was doing. I was like, let me take a second and let me just goof off on the internet for a little bit, And while I was doing that, I was reading all these tweets and things about this coronavirus. Oh, the coronavirus. It's going to be a big deal. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. It's scary. It's not scary. We are all there. We all remember. But shortly after shortly after I lost my job, maybe a week or so later, I was still doing applications. Hey, Thriller. Hey, you too. I wish, dog. I wish. And I'll tell you the good news why in a second. You caught me at an awkward moment where I was telling a little story. I'm gonna wrap up real quick. But yeah, so I lost my job, and then a week later, COVID restrictions hit, and we weren't allowed to go out and do anything. So I was like, okay. And so I remember sitting at home, waiting for my friends to get off work so we could play Warzone. And I got really into Warzone, got really good at it. So I started streaming it off my PS4 just so they could watch. And I realized, oh shit, Jesus, he scared the hell out of me. Oh shit, the 420 biddies. Thank you, Thriller. You really like those titties, man. You're addicted to my titties. Appreciate you. Much love, sister. Much love. So yeah, I just remember I started streaming casually like most people do. And at some point I realized, I was like, I could do this. Like I watched other streamers. I was like, I could do this. All my life I've wanted to be an entertainer, and I was like, this might be my start. And that's why I started streaming. And then slowly I started losing that passion. I started marking goalposts for myself that I just couldn't reach. And when I didn't reach them, I'd get depressed that I didn't reach them. And I was like, what's the word? Comparing myself to others. And eventually I just got over that. Just recently I got over that shit. And started thinking about, like, I started seeing that there's people my age getting successful. So why not, right? Like the internet's so fickle. Like one day I could be a nobody. I could say the right or the wrong thing and become a viral sensation. You know? You never know. Yes, comparison is the theft of joy. I love that. Yeah. So yeah, I figured, fuck it. And also, like, all my life I've had people who just told me, you shouldn't do that. You can't do that. It's not obtainable goal, you know? Because, oh, man, just to put it in perspective, I've always wanted to be a comedian. I've always wanted to be a choreographer. I always wanted to be a stunt double. I've always wanted to be, like, I looked up to the Jackass boys. I used to do Jackass stunts. To this day, I still do dumb shit all the time if someone challenges me. There was like a joke at my last job. People were like, don't say bet with Warlock because he'll do it. You know, if I joke about something, you say bet you won't, I'll fucking do it. You know, of course, within reason, but I mean, my version of reason is less reasonable than most. So, with that said, yeah, well, yeah, I just never had anyone supportive around me. and that sounds so negative, because I've had people who are like, you should do the thing you want to do, but like they did it in the, because I'm your friend or your family member, I'm gonna say this, it didn't feel strong. I feel like when I encourage people, that it comes straight through my heart. And then when other people encourage me, it's like yeah, you could maybe, you know. Well, I'm glad you're here, because it's gonna get great and dumb, trust. Oh, you were talking about 420. I can't, because tomorrow I have an interview, and it's with HEB, and they do drug tests after interviews. They're very weird about it, because Texas is a semi-legal, not, it's like it's kind of, you know, it's very awesome. It's 18 an hour is what I read. They're not telling me that's what I'm getting. It's not guaranteed. But when I looked online for like what the price, what the pay is for that job, for that thing, yeah, 18 an hour full time is what it said. The downside is it's 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. my time, and 8 to 2 my time is like prime streaming hours. Those are the peak hours, the best hours for people in my time zone. So it is what it is, you know. Ah, fuck, my internet's kicking ass right now. Woo. But you know, it's with a great company, so I figured just take it, you know, take it. I'm so tired of just not having a job. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna work. I'm gonna bust my ass. I'm still gonna be streaming. You're still gonna see me streaming. It's just gonna be at different weird hours. Probably gonna be first thing in the morning, and then what was that? Oh shit, more biddies. You need to stop spoiling me, girl. You need to stop it. I'm gonna tell your man I'm your new sugar baby if you don't stop. Thank you for them. I appreciate it. Much love to the Thriller. Yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot I added the little cup there. It's cute. Thank you. Where was I? What was I saying? Where do we go from here? I have like a list of little topics I want to hit, you know? Yeah, Phil. Excuse me, that coffee's good. I need to stop because my heart's beating at a million paces. My hands are shaking. I'm getting that buzzing feeling. I two of my Lucky Cups. 2 of them so far. Not full, mind you. I've learned my lesson. I've been drinking about this much. I don't know how much this is in ounces. This is a 40-ounce cup, so maybe 20 ounces, so maybe about 40 ounces of coffee. So less than usual, but definitely up there. Get ahead of me at times, and I'm like 16 to 20, yeah. So double of that. So about 40, maybe at most 40. So about 2 cups of coffee, normal size. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I don't know why I feel so jittery then. I think it's also just the nerves of doing this new project. Which, by the way, let me tell you a little bit about this. You see this above me? Correct me if I'm wrong. So I'm decided to do a just chatting, podcasty type thing. And the idea is I'm just going to talk about whatever I want to, and people can join me through TikTok, where I'm live also. And they have a feature on TikTok where you hit request. I'm not exactly sure how it works, so I'll work out the bugs live on the air. But people can request to join and chat with me and share their opinions or whatever. And I figured this is a good way to get rid of this social anxiety that I grew over my most recent months of going through everything I went through. Yeah, so that's what this is. It's just, I figured, I don't know if you've heard me talk about it, so I don't want to beat a dead horse. I used to do something similar on Twitter when they had Twitter Spaces. They still do, so I'm going to implement that into this show eventually. But I used to do this thing called the Space Bar Podcast. And the idea was that it was supposed to be kind of like going to the bar and talking with your friends and talking to the bartender. And I would take the role as the bartender, as the host. I had a co-host. It was a whole thing. We did 3 episodes. It was some of the most fun I've had. And then for some reason, neither of us picked up on it. And it never went anywhere. So I decided, let's revive that in this format. And, and see what happens. Oh, how do I, let's segue conversation. And also, if anyone ever wants to, they'll be like, what's your thought on this? You can always, people don't have to request to join or to have a conversation. You could just have it in chat. You just want to be like, well, what do you think about this? Feel free, and I'll do my best to answer honestly and openly. Speaking of being honest and open with people and getting shot down again, I'm starting to grow tired of sharing advice with people. And I'm not going to say any specific names. I will call out one person. By the way, if you see my eyes getting watery, I didn't take my allergy medicines. I'm not a crybaby bitch. Not that I'm afraid to cry. I'll let you know when I'm crying. I'll openly admit to being crying. I'm just saying right now, I got a fan blasting in my face because my computer is not doing well lately and I need to clean it out. And the only way to keep it from burning up is using that. Anyways, not to derail, but this morning I was talking to someone. I won't, like I said, I'm not going to say any particular names, but I was talking to her about, she started streaming recently and she wanted to stream to promote herself and her art. Some people will know who that is if you've been close enough to know who that is. Like I said, I'm not going to name any names. But I was explaining to her, I was like, you do a lot of like Fortnite and stuff, and you get a few views from people who are also streamers. And I was like, that's pretty dope. But I was like, the problem, and this is something I personally experienced, and I was watching a TikTok the other day, and he said this best. He said, if you stream and all of your viewers are fellow streamers who only come in to say hi and lurk, you don't have viewers and you don't have fans, you have networking. And there's nothing wrong with that. Networking is part of it. But if all you have is networking, you're not going to grow, you're not going to go anywhere. You're just going to be stuck with like 7 people who like you lurking in your chat while they're streaming and nothing else. And I tried to explain this to her, and I was like, so just be careful with that, because if you're really serious about this growing, helping you grow your other platforms, you need this to be successful. You need Twitch to be somewhat successful, but it's like an ecosystem, right? Where for your Twitch to be successful, you have to be successful everywhere else. And you want your Twitch to be successful so you could be successful everywhere else. It's like this circle. You got to, move. You can't be stagnant. Advice. And so I was explaining to her, I was like, what would be a great idea because she has some friends who play Minecraft, and she's been watching them and stuff. And I was like, you know, it'd be a great idea. You should do one stream a week playing Minecraft for about 3 hours. I was like, then take that stream and segment it, you know, edit out all the filler stuff that's not interesting and try to make it like a YouTube series. Because if you can take 15-30 minutes out of each hour, you do it for 3 hours, that's 3 episodes. You stream on Monday, let's say, then on Tuesday episode 1 comes out, Wednesday episode 3 comes out, Thursday episode 4 comes out, right? Or you space it out more. By next Monday, people are caught up, they can come check out the live, see it live, and then you just repeat that, right? I'll read your comment in a second. Let me finish this thought because I'll get derailed. But, and then I was trying to explain this to her, and she just wasn't listening. Like, I think I would have gotten better reaction if I had given this advice to my wall. I think that would have reacted better. And I was just like, because I even said, like, are you even listening to me? And she's like, oh yeah. And I was like, I'm done. You know, I'm done. And she's not the only one, right? That's the problem. Because I have another friend who, for the longest time, has told me, "Oh, I want to do streaming. I want to do content. I want to make reels, and I want to do all this stuff." And I'm like, "Brother, do it. Let's do it. Let's do it together." And he's like, "Yeah, but like, my computer's not good enough, and I want to get a green screen. I want to move out of my family's house. He wants to do like a character, so he's like, I want to get a wig and a fake beard so I can have like my streaming persona and my real life be separate." I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, but like, you're putting so much thought into it. Oh, he's like, I want to do this. He wants to recreate a scene from a movie, from a very successful, popular movie, right? He wants to record it and use it as a scene transition. And I'm like, that's fucking amazing. Do it. Stop waiting and just do it. Plus, I told him before, I was like, you're going to put all this effort into something like that and setting up this character and this gimmick. I was like, you can't even play games with me and not laugh at your own jokes or break character and just a private call because you haven't practiced. I was like, you're doing all this and then you're going to stream to 0 people and not know what to do. You know, I was like, your first couple streams, yeah, your family are going to come in. A few of your friends and coworkers might show up, and then eventually nobody will. And you don't know how to handle that because you haven't practiced, and you're going to get burnt out. You're going to think to yourself, I put all this effort. I did all this. Where did I go wrong? And he's like, I don't think I will. I was like, trust me, you will, because I did. And multiple people I know have. I've watched it firsthand. And so for like, we've had that conversation a dozen times. And now I just don't. I'm like, dude, you're not listening. You'll never go live. You'll never actually take streaming seriously. And when you're like my age, you're going to look back and regret it. Because he's a lot younger than me. He's like 21, maybe. And I was like, you're going to look back at, you're going to be my age. You're going to look back at it and go, look at all this potential I wasted. I should have listened to Warlock. You know? And I was like, and I realized, I was like, you know, it's fine. If he doesn't want to listen, I can't make him, you know? Let him figure it out for himself. Let him live with that regret, and then let him either sink or swim, right? Either he one day wakes up and goes, fuck, I should have listened. I should have focused. I should have done this. Instead, now I have to do it late. Warlock was right. It's going to be harder when you do it late. Or he will, like, you know, oh well. And he's got to live with that choice, you know? And then, you know, another good example is like again, I won't say, but another friend who does stream, who streams like 8 to 12 hours a day, talks about wanting to he seems like he wants to grow, but he's not willing to put the work in with video editing and stuff. Fine. You at some point have to accept your own responsibility in your own life. And I just, like I said, I'm so tired of, oh gosh. Give me a second to recollect myself, because this is leading into something. I want to read your comment, right? This conversation is leading into something that happened recently that I want to get into. But I want to take a second to read your comment. Also, I don't have OBS up. That's my fault. Okay, we're doing good. We're doing good on time and stuff. Let's see. Personally, I have a mix of both, but I'm not really trying to get my channel huge. I just want a place where I can go live and people can hang out. Yeah. Yeah. You can lead I was trying to think of that analogy. I was like, fuck, what is it? I was like, you could lead a horse to water, but you can't look it in the mouth. I was like, that's not right. I couldn't remember, but exactly. And again, like I said, if you want your stream to just be a chill place where your friends can come watch you play video games and chat, and maybe you meet new people, that's awesome. That's awesome. Much love, much respect. That's cool. But I'm just tired of people around me who are like, I want to grow, but I don't know how to. And it's like, but you're literally not doing anything, you know? And then I give you golden advice, right? And it's nothing like I said, it's nothing that could like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like not groundbreaking advice. It's nothing unique or original. It's just sharing my own example, sharing my own feelings and things, and sharing that and things that I've seen and things that I know work, because that's the thing, right? I know how Twitch and TikTok and things work on a surface level. I don't have a deep understanding. I understand it on a surface level. And I understand what you need to do to grow on every platform, you know? And it's just one of those things where some things that work for others aren't going to work for me. So I share my advice, like Minecraft. I'm not doing Minecraft, right? Because the difference between, say, me and this other person that I suggested do Minecraft, they're already in a network of people who do Minecraft. They're already, like, they are an 18 plus channel, but they're a soft 18 plus. They are an 18 plus that just say bad words sometimes. I'm an 18 plus that talks openly about politics and kinks and violence. Like, nothing's off the table with her. She's like I said, I like to use the term, she's a soft 18 plus, where it's just foul language, you know? I always say, you're Family Guy and I'm South Park, you know? Yeah, exactly. You gotta put the work in. That's the other thing. I'm so tired of people being like, I don't want to do the work, but I want to see the growth. And they don't say that, but that's what they're doing, right? I'm done talking about this. Let's move on to the next subject, because that was supposed to be a segue, and I don't want to get into this any more than I have to. Yeah, pretty much it. Just put in the work, man. You might fail, but you're gonna fail not doing it too, you know? In a couple years, if I'm still at 0 viewers, right? At least I can say, well, fuck, dude, I tried. You know? My first thing is, like, everyone has an audience. You just gotta find your audience. right? It may not be a large audience, but everybody has people who will like to listen and agree with you and share opinions with you and enjoy you for you. You know, you just have to put the work to find them, or don't. But don't be upset that you don't find them when you're not putting the work. Exactly. You just gotta do it. Stop worrying about it so much. Now, the reason I bring up the tired of sharing advice with people wasn't just to like, dog on those people that I've given advice who don't take it. Because that's the other thing. I don't give advice to make myself satisfied. I don't give advice to feel something in me. I give advice because I like God, it's gonna sound so corny. I genuinely think I'm a caring person. I do care about how you do as a person, right? You want to be an artist, I'll be there to support you as an artist. You want to be a musician, I support you as a musician. But let me give you some advice. Even if you don't take it, even if you don't agree with it, have some common decency. Be like, hey, I hear you, but I don't think that's going to work for me. It's that simple. And that came to a huge head. This was when I realized that, one, I'm done giving advice. Like I'll share advice once in a while, if asked or whatever. But I'm done trying to push people to do more, to be better, to talk, like I said, have these same conversations with this same group of people. I'm over it. And that all came to a head recently. Wait, I just noticed you have a typo in the correct. That's on purpose. That's on purpose. I thought it was a little clever. You know, get people like, hey, wait, you already fucked up on the thing. Yeah, that's totally intentional. I totally meant to do that. But yeah, so the advice thing came to a head when there was a streamer. Again, not going to say names because this isn't where we put people on blast, especially this particular person who I think, and I'm no expert, right? But from everything I've ever heard about it, I think they were genuinely having a manic episode. And they started some issues with another streamer and their community. And this streamer was a bigger streamer with a bigger community. And this, God, this is going to get confusing. Streamer A and streamer B, just for purpose. She had said something about one of his mods. And I neither agree or disagree with what she said about that person. But I noticed she said something in his chat about that person. And it came off weird. I was like, what's going on? I DM'd her being like, hey girl, you good? Like, that came out weird. I don't know if that's what you intended, whatever. And she didn't see it or didn't reply or whatever. Maybe she doesn't look at Twitch DMs. I don't know. Because we weren't that close. I just watched her from time to time and chatted. But like I said, I reached out because I was like, hey, that was a little weird. You good? And then I saw she went live. So I went to talk to her. I was like, hey, girl, how you doing? Like, what's up? And she started going on this rant about this other person and this other person's stream that she didn't like. And like, we're not here to talk about her opinions of this person, but it was the comments she was making. At one point she said, it's okay, he will see I'm right about this person. I prayed to God told me it was my time to tell him, and then eventually he will see that I'm right. And I was like, okay, all right, interesting. And I started putting together, I was like, well, one, she hasn't slept well. Two, she's going through stresses with work and life and such. So like I said, I was like, to me, it kind of looked like she was going through something serious. And I even messaged the other streamer just saying, hey, I got to be honest with you. I think she's going through something. I don't, just so you know. And I don't know. It just didn't look good. And she had said something along the lines of, this person's a bad person. I prayed to God. He answered my prayers. I was like, that's weird. Some other stuff I won't get into that's too personal. And then she said, in Warlock, if you don't agree with me, you're no better than them. And I had said, listen, I don't care about that person or what they're going through or any of that. It's not my place. I don't care. I just wanted to check in on you and see if you're okay. And she'd said, I don't remember exactly what she said. She said something. She's like, you're going to care. You'll see soon enough. God will open up your eyes. And I'm like, okay, again, interesting. Whatever. I didn't think anything of it. And some of the community started trickling in and sharing their opinions. They're very, I'd say they were somewhere between respectful and very upset because you're talking about their friend. But they still kept it mildly respectful. And I'm not going to get into, like I said, I'm not getting into all that tea and drama. But she at some point said something, she's like, you guys just come here for the drama. She's like, none of you guys came in here till I said something, and that proves that you guys are snakes. She's like, she goes, look, I don't care about any of you guys. I don't care about any of this. I'll do fine without you guys. I don't need you, whatever. Then she said, if you don't believe me, I banned Warlock and he's been here for a while. And I was like, whoa, hold up. So I tried to comment, message something, and I was banned. And I was like, all right, fine. So I messaged her one more time and I said, hey, listen, you're going through something. I get it. If you ever need someone to talk to, reach out. I still care. And then I left it at that. And I hit send, got blocked. And I was like, wow, okay. So like I said, this person might be going through something, but they don't want me in their life. They don't want my advice. The old me would have been like, no, I've got to reach out. I got to try to. No, I said, you know what? I feel like I've done more than most people would in that situation. And I'm not going to do anymore because she doesn't want any more from me. And that's totally respectful. That's totally fine. But I still left the door open. If she ever messaged me and said, listen, you know what? I'm so sorry about how I said, fine. I will accept her in and talk to her and treat her with the same amount of respect and love that I would any human being at any time. Yeah, the ball's in their court. And at the same time, also, like, I also get, she was like a younger woman. And so I get, she probably doesn't want to talk about her issues with an old dude from the internet she barely knows. And I totally respect that as well. So I'm just like, I just want people to know. And this goes for anyone. This goes for you, Thriller. This goes for anyone. If you need someone to talk to, reach out. I might not get right back to you right away. I might not have the best advice. I might not, have the answer. But what I do have is kindness, love, and care. And I will always try to take moments to just talk to you in your time of need and to just be there to be, at the very least, you will be heard. And this goes for anyone. This doesn't go for just my best friends or my friends that I meet on the internet or anything. This can be, you could be a complete stranger. You could be someone I've been like, I don't like you and I don't fuck with you. I will still treat you like a human. Every human deserves to be seen and to be heard. Even the worst humans deserve that. Just common decency and to be heard and be respected. Yeah. Where am I on time real quick? Because we got ads that I have to worry about. We got about 5 minutes. I didn't get a notification for ads. Whoa, what the fuck is this? What is that? Yo. What the hell? I've never seen that before. Did you hear that? Oh, you applauded with the Tangia. That's so cool. Jeez, that scared the shit out of me. I didn't know where those hands came from. That freaked me out. I was looking at everything. I didn't see it until seeing it in the message. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Yeah. That's also that was the same situation where like I said, I was like, I don't care about that. I just, want to make sure if you're okay. And then I'm on Instagram a day later, which I don't even check that often. I literally, the most I do on Instagram is talk to my friends sometimes. So I'm on Instagram and I see I got a DM and I check to see if it's one of my friends. And it's like, that's where the guy came in and was like, she's not gonna fuck you, bro. And I was like, what? And it took me a second. I was like, oh. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? He's like, you're trying to be a white knight, bro. She's not gonna fuck you. She doesn't care. It's like, all right, dude. And I thought that was just funny. And, yo, bro, you're being a simp. That's what he said. The first thing is, you're being a simp. 40-year-old ass. She's not gonna fuck you, bro. Okay. It's like, stupid asses. Like, yeah, thanks for letting me know. Appreciate it. Yeah. Cool. And see, even to this day, that motherfucker can reach out to me anytime and be like, hey, you know what? I need someone to talk to. I don't know got anyone. And I'll still fucking listen. I've got people in my life. And I'm not just saying that. I live that truth. I have people in my life who have hurt me physically and mentally, scarred me. And in their times of need, I've still had a conversation with them and listened to what they had to say and just shared that moment with them and gave them that space and that time. And I will always do that for everyone. Asterisks, there's like a small percentage of people I won't. There's reasons. There's one person in particular that I just can't do this with anymore. I won't go into details. Like, for the vast majority of people, I will. 90-something% of the human earth or the human population, I will talk to you. There's a small percentage of people that I won't. Thank you. I appreciate that. I try to just be better than the people around me. And that's not to say that I have bad people around me. I have some great people around me. I also have some bad people around me. But I take other people's greatness and I go, let's take that greatness and try to do it tenfold. My hair looks like crap, dude. I'm so mad. I grew this. Oh, ads in 3 minutes. Bathroom break in 3 minutes, everybody. I grew this hair out knowing it was thin because I wanted to do a funny joke where I shaved like the top off and just kept like a monk circular thing. I don't know what that's called. I thought it'd be so cool, like a monk or like an old medieval priest. Just keep this part and then the top's grown and then the beard. I thought it would look funny. I thought I'd look like a medieval peasant or something. But now I'm like, I should probably shave it before the interview. In the face, I'm gonna be shaving this tonight, crying my eyes out, you know, because I love this. You know, I feel like the beard just fits me. It's wild and untamed like me. But hey, you know, this job does say they allow beards, from what I read online. So I'll shave it for the interview, make myself look. I feel like I look better with the beard, but you know, some people disagree, and I'm like, it's fine, whatever. So I'll shave everything except the eyebrows. Go in for the interview, get the job, hopefully, God willing. And then after that, I'll just slowly grow it out and be like, yo, you know, maybe I'll leave it and say it's religion. What religion lets you grow your beard out that I could pass for? I don't think I could do like Sikh, because then I don't think they'll be like, you ain't got all the other Sikh stuff. And Sikh's the only one I think you grow your beard out. I know you grow your hair out. I think you grow your beard out as well. Also, I can't go in with a shaved head, no turban, and be like, I'm Sikh, so I can't. Also, I shouldn't lie about being religious. Both because it's, you know, it's not a nice thing to do, but also because my dumbass will lie about being a certain. I'll be like, I'm actually this religion, that's why I can't shave it. And then the dude doing the interview would be like, oh, sweet, me too, or we have another one, or like, fuck, you know. 60 seconds. Oh yeah. Good thinking. 33 seconds actually. So stick around. I got a little bit more to talk about after these ads. TikTok, you ain't got no ads, but I have to piss nonetheless. So, you know, you'll be in a BRB screen till I get back. So, and then after that, you know, we'll wing it. Like I said, I got a couple more conversational pieces to have. So here's the ads. I'll be right back. Love. Yep. There you go. We're back. Good looking out. Because I would have just chatted for like ever without noticing. You didn't miss much. I described the size and weight of the turd I just took. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't do that. That'd be weird. That'd be weird, but not the weirdest thing I've ever done. So who knows? Maybe one day. Is that what people want? You know? That's what I'll do from now on. I'll take a picture of every turd I make when I'm during streaming only. And I'll have like one of those, you know how like at a, what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? You know, in a crime scene, and they have those things next to like the footprints that show the size and the width of the footprints. I'll have one of those, and I'll put it next to the toilet, or next to the where to the turd, and then you guys can see the size. And then when I come back from that, we can have a conversation about it and about how healthy or unhealthy it looks. And no, I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that. That's fucking horrible. That's so bad. That's such bad content. Ugh. That's weird. That's too far. Okay. Sometimes you gotta like mention something and be like, and then when people are like, no, that's weird, you're like, yeah, no, I thought that too. Let's go for doctor for butts. Well, I'm not no doctor for butts, but I'll examine a good butt any day for what it's worth. No, I won't actually, because that'd be disrespectful to my girlfriend. By the way, real quick, I want to go on a little rant. My girlfriend calls me her husband, and I won't get into that too much. It is what it is. Sweet, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I personally, it's so awkward because she mentions me and introduces me to all of her friends as her husband. She's like, "This is my husband," and then I'll introduce her and mention her as my girlfriend, and we have different opinions on it. And my opinion's very simple. We're not married. We've been together for nearly 15 years. Yeah. And that sounds great. That sounds so good. Like, wow, you guys have been together for so long. And yes. But here's the thing. For me, it's not a technical thing. I think plenty of people, your wife or your husband is, wait, what? Your wife and your husband are not whoever it says on a piece of paper. It is literally the person you love and want to share the rest of your life. And without getting too much into it, I don't know if we're there. You're saying you guys been together for 15 years. Yeah. I don't want to say too much because I love her. Right? But I don't think we're husband and wife material for each other just yet. I think the potential is there. She hates when I talk about this. She gets so mad, rightfully so. I get it. It's like, I keep telling her, I was like, it's just a difference of opinions. I hate to say it. And I think by law, we are technically married because we filed taxes several times. I don't know how none of that works, but we might be common law at this point. I don't know. I feel like, dude, See, I thought about this too. I was like, how vulnerable and open do you want to be? And it's like, there's still things that I want to keep private, but like, where do I draw that line? And I think the reason I hesitate is for her sake more than mine. Because in a private call, I'll give you the whole details. I'll spill the whole beans. But for her sake, for her respect of her privacy, I'll keep it vague and just say it's just an awkward situation. Because I don't feel like we're married. I don't feel that way myself. I feel that we love each other, that we're co-parenting and we're sharing a household. I just don't think she understands what marriage really is, because neither of us have grown up neither of us have seen anyone in our lives have a healthy, strong relationship. Marriage, that is. The closest I have is, well, okay, I have my aunt and uncle. They've been pretty solid as far as I know. But like, I don't know. Let me read these because I'm getting behind on messages. I do apologize. Let's see. I don't have this up. Because I wonder. Okay. If your state still does common law, then yes, you are. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Texas? I don't know. Let me Google that real quick. I bet they do. They're so... Yeah. Okay. So yeah, for all legal intents of purpose, I guess we are. My mans and I call each other husband and wife, even though we aren't legally, but I held off because I wanted to pay off my student loan debt before we tied the knot when we do. Love that. Oh, sweet. I love that. I love that for you guys. You know, but like, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to say too much. I'll spell it out a little bit. I feel like you guys, oh shit. I feel like you guys know, right? And I love that for you guys. I don't think she's ready. I don't know. Now the goal is to buy another home before we do, because I would get first home owner benefits. Oh, that's smart. I love that. See, I'm also probably wrong in this. I'm probably very selfish with this. I'm willing to say that because I've always saw myself as someone who would never find someone to get married with, but I'd probably have a bazillion children with a bazillion baby mamas. I just acknowledge that about myself. It's a flaw. I'm not something I'm proud of. I just know that, like, it's just who I am. It's in my nature. You know, I want that, but I don't know if I'll ever get that. I don't know. It's a weird situation. It's something I've never fully thought of myself. It's something that's always been, I don't know, something I've just always been stuck with. Yeah. Gotta play the system. Yeah. I mean, fuck it. Billionaires who don't deserve it take advantage of everything. So I say, fuck it. Take advantage of everything you can too as well. If they can do it, then fuck it. I can do it. You know? That's we you know, we have I'm having a brain fart because I can't think about what exactly, but you get it. Yeah. Move on before I make an ass out of myself. Welcome in Carol Calamity. I haven't read that name out loud. I love it. You know, I don't know if you're still here, but thank you for joining. Let me pull a topic out of my ass. I wanted to talk about why I stream. I feel like I did that at the beginning. And I've done it so many times. I feel like people know, or maybe not everyone, because like new people are gonna see this hopefully and not know. So I'll keep it brief, but like streaming is supposed to be, I'm supposed to be practicing being the entertainer I thought I would always be. I like that. That's exactly to the point. I'm practicing to become the entertainer I always thought I deserved to be. That sounds a little better than the first time I said it. I don't want this to go on too long. At 3, I have a game of, I don't know how to explain this. I usually just tell people I have a game of Dungeons and Dragons. Even if it's not Dungeons and Dragons and it's a different game, I say Dungeons and Dragons because most people know what that is, thanks to Stranger Things and other media. I'm sure more people seen or heard of Dungeons and Dragons than they've played Dungeons and Dragons. And I've always experienced when I try to explain something else, people are like, "That's weird. I don't get it." And I'm like, "It's like Dungeons and Dragons." They're like, "Got it, understood." You know. So let's talk about that for a second, because I love this group I've been playing with. It's just for our own fun. We're just having fun. But the story that my DM or GM, for better representation or whatever it's supposed to be, the story he's telling is so good. And we have such a strong group of players who are, because that's what TTRPGs are for people who don't know. It's a lot of things to a lot of people, but for me, it's telling a story and sharing that story with a group of people, right? You have the one guy who creates the scene and the scenario, and then all the players make up their mind of what they would want to do in that scene and then that scenario. And then sometimes you roll dice to see how successful or unsuccessful you are at what you do. That's essentially it. That's what every TTRPG essentially is. There's more to it than that, but I won't get into that, because if you understand that there's more to that, then I don't have to explain that to you. And if you don't understand, I'm not going to explain it to you, because this isn't the time or place. But he's been telling this great story. So it's set in modern USA, where younger dudes, college-age people with superpowers, and a world where superpowers are seen as bad. They're seen as negative. And there's this ongoing joke that it's kind of like an analogy for queerness in a sense, because it's like you don't want to talk about it around people. You don't share it with people. You kind of keep it to yourself. Obviously, in modern times, it's more open, but I'm talking about, at a certain point of time. But it's like there's like so many little jokes that we've added. It's such a beautiful cast. It's myself, and a few friends. I don't want to get into too much. Again, for their own privacy, I don't know how much they want to share, but I hope he doesn't mind me sharing a little bit of the story. So like I said, we're all college-aged dudes with these powers that we inhabit. My character, I'm so proud of. My character is the son of a politician who hates weirds. That's what we're calling the people with superpowers, weirds. He's a politician who writes in laws and tries to ban and all this stuff. And in college, I find out about my power, and my power is I can absorb certain elements and sort of transmutate my body into them, if that makes sense. So like if I touch metal, I could turn my skin and everything into metal. If I touch fire, I've turned into fire. I've touched snow and turned into snow, things like that. And I it I get why they wanted to keep it private, because it's supposed to just be a fun game between friends. But I'm so vaguely disappointed that we haven't turned that into something like a let's play, or not a let's play, a real play podcast thing where, and shared it with the world, because we've had some beautiful moments. My GM is so phenomenal at just telling a story and then being able to give us the reins and to respect us with having control of the story for a bit and sharing it and going with whatever we say. Because I gotta be honest, I've tested the limits. It's what I do. I always have to test my limits with people. A great example of this is one time there was a villain who was using mind control to make us see what we'd want to see, kind of idea, you know? And so we were all having these like dreamlike scenarios. One person was like in a position where they're like, they're safe and not being hunted by the world's greatest superhero. The other one was like back with his friend, all this stuff. The scenario he wrote for me was that I had become a politician. I didn't have my powers. And my father was alive and healthy. And I remember the scene was like, I was about to go on stage. My father was very proud of me. And I remember sitting there and I was like, I remember telling the DM something like, I'm going to do this and I hope you don't mind. I hope it doesn't step on your toes. And I was so nervous to do this because I was like, I don't want to derail what he's doing. It's really good. But I sat there and I was like, what would my character do in this situation? And my character looked in the mirror and said, you can cut this out. I was like, and we're all doing this through Discord, but you know how when you're in a room full of people and you can feel the energy in the room, everyone clicks, the synergy, everyone's on the same page and everyone is excited for something. We all feel it together. I felt that through a Discord call with all of us being in different places around the world. And I couldn't see his face, but when he talked through the character he was portraying at that moment, who was my father, I believe, I could hear the smile. I could hear the joy that he was like, awesome. Because the other two players went with it. They went with they just were like, yeah, this is, my character thinks he's in this space now. Cool. But I felt like my character was like, no, I have these powers. My father would be disappointed in me, but I'm trying to, because my whole thing is I'm trying to prove to the world that people with superpowers can be good to the world. That for every bad person, there's a good person. Right? And I felt like this was so disingenuous to reality. This was too perfect. So I like I said, I sat there, I looked in the mirror, I was like, you can cut this out. I was like, this isn't reality. I don't like it. And like I said, just that moment, I felt so good about everything. You know? And we had moments before that felt like that felt that energy. And in the near future, I feel like this group of people, we're going to work on a project. Because there's been little chitter chatter about it, but we're going to work on the project in the future that's going to be similar to this. That's going to be in this form of like a podcast where people can join and they can appreciate this shared universe and energy we have for something, because I feel like all of us are just so, we all want to be creators. We all want to be in that space. And I feel like for the first time in a long time, probably in my whole entire life, I found a group of people who share an interest that we want to do a thing and we want to create something beautiful that we could share with the rest of the world. And that's so special. And that's something I'm going to bring up to them when we play here in about 30 minutes. So I'm not going to stay much longer because I could feel my voice giving out. And I don't want that for the podcast. I also got to eat because I'm starting to feel really fucking shaky. And it's not caffeine shaky. It's blood sugar low shit or high or whatever it is when you don't eat. So I'm going to need to go eat before that. But yeah, that's definitely something in the horizon. I definitely want to do I have like my own fantasy campaign that I want to do. Exactly. It's been an hour and a half. That's pretty good for me. But and then like I said, I got to go yap again for 30 minutes. I mean, for an hour, probably 3 hours with them. And that's going to be, I'm not going to lie. Every session I've had with them, I've cried because we've done such beautiful scenes. I had a scene where I finally came out to my mother with powers. And, you know, I don't want to say too much about the story because I think one of them is working on something with this that we could work on. So I won't give away too much. But like, my father went through a major tragic event and was in ICU. And something that was true to my family was every Sunday we had family dinner, no matter what, you know? And so, every Sunday, even after my father's tragic event that caused him to be in the ICU, I still had dinner with my mom in the hospital. And so I had this moment where it was leaked. All the people with superpowers were leaked out to the world and people found out. And my mom had been like, you know, I saw the news. And I remember when this is a grown man is pretending to play my mother and saying to me, another grown man who's pretending to be this college age kid with powers. He's like, I saw the news. And I remember being like, yeah. And then I touched my tray of food. My arm turns metal. And I remember he's like, she hugs you. And I was like, fuck, don't cry right now. We're just two grown men playing pretend. But it was so beautiful, the moment in the story. And I'm not doing it justice. You know? Is that hype? Oh yeah, I might have that too, or something. I have something, dog. I don't know if I mentioned this. I've straight up passed out before. I don't know what this is. I just know I get hungry or I get really cold. I get really shaky, and then my body goes, "You need to eat now." And then I go to the food and I just eat everything. I just eat until I feel satisfied and my body goes back to our normal. And I'm starting to feel that now. That's why I'm like, I need to put a pause. I need to finish this up. And so I can eat and be healthy and ready for that. Because I owe it to them to be at my best for that. So I won't stay too long. I will. I just want to wrap up. I want to say, you know, okay. Let's see. This was good. This was nice. I like this. This was therapeutic. Thank you, Thriller, as always, for being probably my biggest supporter I've ever had. Genuinely. I've had a lot of good supporters. Maybe not as much as I feel I deserve. Maybe not as much as I need in life. But meeting you has been great. You know, and I'm not just talking about the bits. I'm talking about being here and chatting with me. You know, just listening. You know, I really appreciate that. For the first time, I feel like I have someone who's listening to me and I'm not doing all the heavy lifting of listening. You know? So I appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. I appreciate, by the way, real quick, I don't want to be that dude who's like, also, but like, I have to say, 230 likes on TikTok, that's pretty fucking cool. Nobody's chatted, and that's fine. That happens. I get it. But a few people have joined. I've had viewers for a minute. I got a few likes. I appreciate that. I love that. So, you know, this is going to be a regular thing. So tomorrow around the same time, come check it out. I'm going to be talking about my interview, and who knows what else happens to me from then and there. Again, this is a two-way street. People can join me in chat like Thriller has. I appreciate that. Comment on TikTok, or hell, hit request. You're free to, you know, I'll throw you up and let you have the floor, and we could share thoughts. I'm starting to ramble too much. I want to wrap this up beautifully. I just want to say it one more time. Thank you, Thriller. Thank you, everyone who liked. I feel like I'm doing that thing where I cycle because of my blood stuff is acting weird, so I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna cut it there. Love and appreciate you guys. Yeah, I gotta cut it there. I'm trying to like, ow. I'm trying to keep talk. Let me just leave before. Yeah, I need to go eat. Love you guys. Everyone have a great one. Oh, I'm gonna be live again later tonight. I'm thinking maybe Fortnite karaoke. Because fuck it. Okay? So, you know, see me in a couple hours when I go. That's assuming I have a social battery to do it. All right, bye. Let's end TikTok first. And that's good. And I don't know where's OBS? I can't end my Twitch live. Oh, okay, cool. I'll check you out too. Much love. I'm out. I need